believe we can go to the engineer's report. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you. The item we have tonight is the local share account grant resolution for the Newtown Creek Pedestrian Bridge project. The board is aware of this project. This is a joint effort between the township, Newtown Borough, and the Newtown Creek Coalition. This project proposes to construct a pedestrian bridge across the Newtown Creek that would span the Newtown Borough and Newtown Township in the area of Frost Lane and North Sycamore Street. So, working together with the borough engineer and the Creek Coalition, we've come up with this grant application. So tonight we are seeking approval of the resolution in the amount of, seeking a grant of $999,979.20. So the resolution would authorize us to submit that grant application on behalf of the Township Borough and the Creek Coalition. Happy to answer any questions on that.
We have two different resolutions, or not, they're different, they're the same.
They're the same. The one is in the version that the township signs. The other was just sort of a template. So.
And it's almost $1 million.
Just shy. Yep.
Just shy. Any questions from the board? We did not frame a motion yet. No, we can go. We framed the motion to grant the resolution. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Now we can proceed with. Any questions?
I think you might have to turn something off for these microphones to work. One day we'll get money to replace all this. I have a question. This is a grant that the maximum amount awarded is $1 million, and I see you calculated everything to be $20 below that. Pretty fantastic. But I'm wondering, you can answer a couple of questions.
Sure.
What happens if we don't get the $999,999, whatever it is? If we get a lot less?
If less, that we'd have to cross the, I don't want to say cross the bridge when we get there, but we would. A lot of times we can look at reducing scope. Obviously, we'd have to pull together the Township Borough and the Coalition to discuss how to proceed with the project, but there's options of reducing project scope and, seeking additional funding could be an option as well.
Okay. Is there a time limit on this grant? If you get it, you have to use it or lose it?
Usually it's around 3 years.
3 years?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was reading the, about the eligibility of the funds, what they can be used for. And it was very interesting. I note that the application says that up to this project will also provide for the creation of construction jobs. I'm looking at page 8 under narrative. How do you plan to accomplish it? It says this project will also provide for the creation of construction jobs, assuming a duration of 6 months or 24 weeks. The contractor's crew of 8 people. This project will support 9 full-time employees. But I notice in here, the fund cannot be used to pay expenses like it says.
What are you looking at, Mr. Mack?
I'm looking at the local share account statewide program guidelines dated July 2023 under ineligible project costs, and it says operations and salary costs. Operations and salary costs, with the exception of administrative costs, are ineligible. So I'm just confused. The 9 employees, are they on the salary? I mean, how does that work?
We're referring to 9 construction employees, right? So a contractor would be working on it, their employees, we would be supporting that amount of their employees for the duration of the project.
I just didn't know why that had to be put into the application. I guess all the projects that we do involve contractors and their employees, so I just got a little confused as to whether they would be somehow on a salary or something like that. If we don't get the complete amount, I mean, there's bound to be, cost overruns. I mean, in a project like this, I know that in the trail project, we couldn't do the full trail and we had to cut back. You can't cut back a bridge. Either it goes over the creek or it doesn't. So I'm not quite sure what you would have to cut out of this in order to be able to use whatever funds you have. So I'm kind of worried that there'll be excess, somehow more money would have to be found to cover the costs. And I know Mr. Sellers suggested way back in 2019 that any costs like that, such as the engineering costs that you've already submitted because you reviewed how to submit this grant, the majority of those costs would have to be paid by the township. And the rationale was that the land over which this project extends, maybe 75% of it is Newtown Township and 25% is the borough. I don't know, something like that. Mm-hmm. And so the idea was if there are any of these costs that are not covered by the grant, that's how it would be split between the township and the borough. That doesn't seem fair to me. So I'm just concerned that we're not going to have enough money from this grant to finish the job without incurring additional costs, and that the township is going to be responsible for the majority of those additional costs. Of course, you can't know what those costs might be at this time, but so that's just my opinion.
I can note, so we, in the application, the engineering and inspection and permitting costs are included, so that could be something if we were to get the grant, that would be reimbursable, to the township and borough. There's also included a 5% contingency on the construction cost, roughly to the tune of $40,000, to cover those unforeseens.
If we, I see you're ready to go. If we go ahead and apply for the grant, we're under no obligation at some point. I mean, we'd have to do a resolution to accept the grant and move forward.
That's correct. I mean, right now you're just applying. There's nothing tying you to this if you weren't to get the grant. Yeah.
Okay, just want to make that point. Anyone else?
I do have a question.
Sure.
I think I grasp on what you're saying about the cost to the township, but I just wanted to clarify.
Okay.
So you're saying, let's assume we get the full amount that we're applying for and we don't have any cost overruns, as Mr. Mack mentioned. Do we anticipate any additional costs to the township outside of that for that project?
At this point, no.
Okay.
If we were to get the full amount, we don't anticipate any additional costs.
Okay, thank you.
Are we able to use township engineers? I mean, are we going to keep it in-house, in other words? Is it possible to use people that work and live in Newtown Township or the borough to do all of this work?
Yeah, that's possible. So we've been working with CKS. They prepared, as the borough engineer, they prepared the concept plan. So we've all sort of been working together on this. So that's certainly possible. Yep.
As far as even construction?
The project would have to get bid out. We'd have to still go through the bidding process. So whichever contractor would bid on it.
Okay, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Yeah.
No,
Thanks.
I hope we would get a better contractor than the Lower Darlington Trail contractor.
One thing at a time.
The problem is you gotta go with the lowest bid by law.
I'm gonna have a question about that after this vote.
That's fine.
Yeah. Do we have a motion in a second? Are you all ready? Okay, yes, we did, because you reminded me. Okay, so motion and a second. Any further discussion from the board? Any public comment? Please state your name for the record.
John April, Newtown Grant. Might want to get away from the windows. I'm actually going to agree with Johnny Mac. So, I don't think 1 cent should be spent on this project, because if the borough initiated, and if there's any money to be involved other than the grant, the borough should pay for it. I don't believe Newtown Township residents need a bridge. If the borough initiated, the borough wants it. And not even 1 cent should be spent on this project, Newtown Township money. If the borough wants it, the borough pays for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comment? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor of applying for the local share account grant, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.